City. Y'all already know who it is, man. It's your boy King with my guy 30, man. We here with another special guest, my guy Trent. But first, let me let my boy 30 bring him in, you know?
Coach 30, MrGo30, whatever you want to call me, I'm here with my boy King. It's the Build Different podcast. We got another fire episode for you. We got our guy Trent here, and we're about to dive deep into this story.
You're stuttering already. Like,
bro, it's natural. I thought you stutter, bro. Like,
natural
it's
stutter.
all
Okay.
good. What's your problem? You good? You all right?
Like,
relax.
Maybe a little nerves.
Relax.
This is what I do.
No, I'm just saying
late,
it's nerves. Yeah, it could be.
Relax. It's not my nerves. Like, this is what I do. Like, this is literally what I do.
People know what you do.
That's
what
I'm saying.
They know what you do.
I'm saying.
But still, like, you know what I'm saying? Are you in coach mode? You in Brent? Like, what you in?
I'm in my mode.
You in your mode.
So listen, I'm in
that's what we
podcast
do.
mode.
All right,
Yeah.
so we in
let's go
podcast
ahead.
mode.
That's what's
Let's
up.
go ahead.
So look, again, you know me and 30 can go all day. But Trent, man, what up, man?
Man, I'm good, man.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
You're not stiff no more. You relax.
Man, look,
You know what
I can be stiff. I can be loose. You know, I try to be even keeled, but you know, I'm excited, man. You know, we here live at the barbershop, Cutz-N-Restore Image, 316 White Oak Road. Come see us. Pull up. We do fantastic work. But we hear about the podcast. So
Now, we hear about you.
Yeah,
Can you trust a barber that's bald with a beard?
Yeah.
How can you cut somebody's hair if you ain't got no
because
hair?
I've been doing it for a long time.
How long you been cutting?
Man, I've been cutting, for almost 30 years. I started when I was 11. Got the inspiration to start cutting hair at 11 years old. And so through that time, I just continued to plug away, the curiosity, just kind of continue to do the things that to pursue my passion. And, 15, 30 years later, cutting.
See, here's the thing about an old barber. I don't really know if the experience is a good thing. Like, the experience could be a good thing, but then it's like your hand might not be as steady, right? Like, you might have that.
That's because somebody might have an alcohol problem, but over here, there's no addiction. Nah, straight passion. No, it's, the cut game is a beautiful game. But like I said, one of the things is being an owner, as we will talk about later, really understanding the art and the craft, the science of cutting hair. And so, like I said, in the early stage, the curiosity was there. But as I continued to pursue, I realized that, hey, it's more work than just cutting hair. Most times barbers thinking is just, I just plug in, cut a hair, do a great haircut, and then that's it. But it's more aspects of cutting hair. So that's the thing you start learning as back in 2009, I went to cosmetology school, and that's when I learned a little bit more about the business. I learned a little bit more about the business side, the professional side, the service side, and so so it was just pretty much just locking in and being a student, and then continue to perfect the craft. So you got to be serious. Anything being an owner, pursuing your dream, pursuing your passion, you got to be disciplined. You got to be motivated. You got to love what you do, because there's a lot of tough times, a lot of moments where I felt like giving up. But thank God I hung in, and so, here we are. Yep.
Let's talk about that, because I received, from just talking to you and
Yes, sir.
experiencing your energy and just being around you, this is something that I wouldn't guess. But I found out that at a certain time in your life that you did some time.
Yeah.
That's part of your story. Tell your story, because people just hearing you talk just now, they won't even, that's something that wouldn't even come across their mind.
Absolutely. Well,
And really quick, it's funny that you bring that up, man, because I just found out like a month ago.
Really?
And when we took in the league, So again, I've known Trent for years, right? Like in the hooping scene and all that, and we'll definitely get to that later. But
I bet you do.
So I was talking to Rick, man. Shout out to my man Rick Wright.
Good dude.
And
good dude.
like the conversation came up, and I'm just like, and it was confirmed. Trent did time. I'm like, nah, we talking about two different Trents. Not, you know what I'm saying? Like, nah, son did some time. So to his point, it was shocking to me too.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
definitely, man, like let's get into it.
Again, like everyone has a prior life, right? That's my past, right? Just being a young, being ignorant, being in the streets, basically trying to live an image. Everything is about image, right? So you fall in those kind of traps. You fall in those kind of things of you trying to grind. You're trying to figure out things. Really just trying to figure out where you fall, where you fit in. And so for me, it was just that. It was just running with the wrong crowds, doing the wrong things, however you want to put it. Of course, unfortunately, which was at that time, we're talking about this because we ain't got a lot of time, but back in '03, you know, I got popped. So here I am. At this time, I'm probably like 25, 27, around that age.
Ain't around my age.
So yeah, so here I am, you know, everything crashing. So here I am facing some serious times. You know, of course, the charges is what they are, right? We ain't got to glorify that, but I was looking at some real serious time. So most people, they get in that situation, everybody crying, I got to change my life.
Right.
Well, what happened to me, why I'm saying what was meant for a curse, it was actually a blessing. So literally the day it was August, the day I stepped in there, I really just broke down and said, you know what? I'm done. I'm tired. So that's when, of course, with me giving my life to Christ, that's when everything changed. So in that time of not knowing how many years I was going to face, at that time being in a situation to where now life in the streets is one thing, but now being behind bars and survivor mode, there's whole nother animal that you got to be. And so again, even though I was talking to God talk, still keep it real. I was in where? I was still in prison. So I had to learn how to survive. And also too, I had to learn how to stay out of people's way, because at this point now, once I understood the time I was facing, now which most people, and this is also too, I know what you got a youth program and doing with the youth with the basketball, and anyone that's watching, you got to understand something. Any situation, especially in that situation, you really got to start figuring out what you want to do in life. Because now things are really starting to get really tough. Because now, here it is, I'm 27, now I'm in prison, now I got to do the time. Because I did the crime. But now here's what we don't realize. It's not doing the time, it's when you get out. And that's where a lot of people have a hard time figuring out what they want to do. So again, going back to cutting hair, I knew then hustling can't be the way I get out of the hood or whatever situation I'm in. Working a 9-to-5 job, yeah, that's cool, but that ain't what I wanted to do. So I said, you know what? And I had a proper conversation with another childhood friend of mine that got caught up. And before I was getting in my time, we used to always talk about entrepreneurship. We're always talking about being your own boss. So when I was in that situation, all those things started really kind of bringing back to my memory. And I said, you know what I love? Man, I love cutting hair. So therefore, I start putting in the work of not only getting closer with God really figuring out some things about me, and it really just cultivate a whole new mindset, because that's something we'll talk later. You got to have a new mindset. I knew once I got out, now I'm a felon, a black man and a felon. So I really got to start being on my A game. Now every move I make really got to make a difference, because now the kind of what we say, the odds against me. So it really was just building a game plan. It was just keeping God first, just kind of continue to stay out of the foolishness, having a game plan, keeping my mindset focused. And then once I got back out to society, that was where the work came in. Now, it's not easy, but because I was locked in, plugged in, and because I knew what I wanted to do was eventually cut hair, so that's when the early stages of me pursuing my career as far as being a barber.
So when you were there and you figured it out, okay, this is what I want to do. Well, you figured out, I don't want to be here. I don't want to go back to that street life. So now you decided you're going to cut hair. Were you working on that there already, or were you waiting until?
Yeah, I mean, anyone would tell you anytime you're in prison, you got a few jobs, and being a barber is one of those jobs. If you're a barber in the cell, in the hole, I mean, that's where you want to be at, because you're able to get some kind of money for commissary. So for me, any spot I went, if I was here at Rappahannock, I was trying to be a barber. When they sent me down to Mecklenburg, hey, the first thing I want to plug in was be a barber. When I did some time down in Doswell, that's where I wanted to be. So anywhere where I was at, I was always thinking about cutting hair, because one, that was my passion, but two, that's how I was be able to make a little bit of bread. So that's how that was. And then of course, at that time, once I got to Mecklenburg and then was able to do the last bit of my time in Doswell, they did have a program which you can go and get your license at Hangs Point. But at that point, my time wasn't long enough, and they didn't have enough room, so I couldn't go there to get my barber license. But that didn't stop me. I was just going to figure out a way once I got out that I was going to pursue get my barber license and then pursue the career.
Okay.
Yep.
So you touched on the mental
Yes,
being
sir.
incarcerated, right? Let's touch on the heart, man. Like, what emotions or who was your support system that got you through there? Because I don't think you touched on it. If you don't mind, please do. How long were you incarcerated?
Yeah, 2.5 years.
All right. So in that course in time, who was getting you emotionally through it, right? Because you understand something?
Yeah.
You leave this world where you have all the ass and whatever you want out
Yes,
here,
sir.
right? To going to prison to really be confined, man. So talk a little bit about that.
It was really about me really getting to a point of understanding my mission and understanding that now games is done with. Now I got to really man up. And I think one of the things that help, and I tell everyone, is one of the times when you get in a situation like going to incarceration, we don't want to accept the responsibilities of what we did. We can blame everybody. We do a lot of blaming, but it takes a different type of mindset to say, you know what, it's all me. It's me who I got to fix. It's me who got to change. So like I said, again, when we start talking about faith and we start talking about Christ and all those things, that was really the foundation to really plug me in an environment to where I didn't have to deal with all the stuff that's out there in prison. And I was just focused on what I needed to do spiritually, physically, and mentally to really get myself through those hard times. I mean, again, I kept fellowship with my other Christian brothers. Anybody that knows you do time, you're going to have your little regiment. So I did push-ups. We played basketball. We played softball. You get out on the chain gang. You have things to look forward to in prison. But again, there's a thing that you got to understand. If you're not careful, you can become institutionalized. So for me, it was always preparing my mind once I left and be able to gain my freedom and really have a game plan to really pursue what I needed to do. Because you got to think at this time, I had a child. I'm getting close to 30. So I really had to figure something out other than just going back and resorting to the same old things. The same old mindset, right? Like how are you going to be successful if the people that you hung around with got you caught up with your decision making? Then you turn around and get out of prison and you go with the same people that got you in trouble. And so that was clear to me that it takes a different type of mindset and it takes a different type of vision, to kind of really get yourself to stay on the narrow path, because it's not easy, but you really got to get to a point where you got to be grounded, and then you got to understand where you want to go in life. And again, I'd be lying to you if I knew how it was going to turn out. Now, we all say, yeah, I want to be a barber. And yeah, at one point, I want to one day have my own shop. But if we're being honest, do I really know what that looks like?
Right.
Do I know what kind of work that's going to take? I mean, we're talking about sacrifice. We're talking about discipline. We're talking about staying out the clubs, not chasing skirts, all that stuff that we get caught up.
Fun stuff.
Yeah, all the fun stuff.
Yeah.
And see, like, even, not to mention, I graduated in 2019. So even with that, graduating from college, that if you ever graduated from college and understanding, that takes a lot of sacrifice. That takes a lot of lonely nights, a lot of sweat and tears, because one thing is the same thing with pursuing the barber career or pursuing anything in life. If you're looking at the long journey, you'll get there. That's what keeps you motivated. If you're thinking short-sighted, if you're thinking for right now, you'll never be able to complete your journey. And I think that's one of the keys with anything in life, is you got to look at the long haul of things. Yeah. Look at the long journey and understanding the vision. Like I said, not just say it here, but write it down and make it plain. And those things, even as I speak today, those are the things that have helped me accomplish a lot of things. But me accomplishing things is this. What am I accomplishing? Okay, that's fine. Now, what for?
Right.
Remember, I got a family.
Right.
You got to remember, I said this, and I know you got another question, but I said this too. There's one thing of keep doing the same thing and getting the same results. We call that insanity. There's another thing when you do all the right things and you have maximized the results. That's what you're dealing with, challenge. Where I'm at right now, I have a different challenge. And that's the thing that I got to pursue. It's not about money. It's not about accolades. It's not about me trying to be something and trying to get applause from men, because I do none of that for men. At the end of the day, what I believe that drives me is being able to pursue the next challenge in life.
Okay.
I love what you said. Just when you're speaking about, what it takes as far as that mindset to be able to do anything.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't understand the sacrifices that it's
sir.
going to take when you're setting out to do something.
Yeah.
It's going to be times where, okay, hey, we going out to this party. It's all your friends. Hey, we going out to this party. It's going to be times where, and the harder part is, it's family.
Of course, absolutely.
When you got a dream, you got a barbecue. I want to have this shop. It's something I got to do, and it's a cookout. We getting together for this. We getting together for that. We're in town for this, and you got to say, "Oh, I'm over here working on what I got going on."
Yeah, that's where you really gotta believe in yourself, but also too, once again, you gotta understand the mission. See, if you don't have the thought of this gonna take a long time to get the goals that I set out for myself, gonna take a long time, then it's not so much the distractions will distract you. The fact of the matter is we really want to still play. So me not putting in the hard work and saying, you know what, I'm good, I'm going here and study, or I'm doing some research, is much easier. And we've been kind of programmed, now let's go clubbing. Let's go do, anything that's taking you off the path, that's usually the easiest path. And what I tell people is, if it's easy, then that's not the course you need to be on. Because anything, if it's easy, everybody be what? Doing it. So that's what, and this is why I tell everybody, you got to learn how to separate yourself. You got to separate yourself from people who is not invested in you. I always tell everybody, it's very simple. You got to ask yourself, the people that's around you, are they withdrawing or making deposits in your life? If you got a lot of people that's withdrawing and never deposit, they're not the people you need to be around you. Now, we always say too, not everybody is going to be on your journey with you. Some people might be just for a season.
For sure.
But in reality, not everybody's going to be able to go with you in the long haul. Now, your wife, that's one thing. Your kids, that's one thing. But you know what I mean. Just your friends, family members that you mentioned, which can be the worst. Those are the people you got to separate and focus and lock down. And even if you want to bring them on, there's a time and place for that. Because right now, you can't drag a lot of luggage if you plan on going to a trip.
Okay.
So
no, I get that. And, part of why, initially when we spoke about doing it was because, again, I felt you had a really positive story. The one negative to you is what I'm about to get into right now. And let the people understand the foolishness that comes along with you, right? So again, I've known this guy, and this has been on my mind for so long. I've known this guy for a while, right? So B-ballers, right? So
yes, sir.
That's a
really.
Huh?
Go ahead. No, I'm just saying. Yeah. I didn't know that's where
that's where I'm going. That's where I'm going.
Yeah.
So B-ballers is a basketball team that you started how long ago?
Man, probably about 10, 12 years ago.
Okay.
Local league is just basically, again, it was just part of myself of branding a team, right? And so in a small aspect, that's where B-ballers was originated. It's just saying, hey, let's brand a team and we're going to put it in the league, and whatever grows from there is going to grow from it. And we just did actually an event last week, which was awesome, where we scrimmaged the Fredericksburg Grizzlies, a local semi-pro basketball team. And so now I'm already talking about, possibly putting in a semi-pro basketball team to where now we can more so look from the branding aspect, but actually look at it from a business aspect. As you know, being a business owner, I'm always thinking about branding, I'm always thinking about marketing, and of course I'm always thinking about the business side of it. So that's kind of how that started about 12 years ago.
That's completely fine. So let me tell you the foolish mistake this guy made, right? Yeah. So to that game that he's talking about, right?
Last week.
I played on the team.
Yeah.
Right? So
his team will
I played on his team.
On the
so
team.
I've been going against Trent for maybe 5, 6, 7 years.
Yeah, good leagues.
I've been going against him and busting their ass like.
As he would say, everybody got the story, right?
Yeah, so
is my story false?
So he recruited you.
So hold on. Is my story false?
No, I'm not saying that.
Oh, all right. So that's all right.
But you know how we put extra some like to put extra sauce, but it's like
Yeah.
extra sauce.
Nah, ain't no extra. It's reality.
It's kind
factual.
of
Yeah,
like the
it's
extra
factual.
sauce.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Nah, I ain't
yeah, a
adding
little
nothing.
bit,
So
a little
listen,
bit.
I'm gonna tell you.
I'm used to that.
Yeah,
So
I got you.
always, I
Yeah,
take
yeah.
a little bit off
Yeah,
the
yeah.
top.
Man, I gotta
I
understand.
take a
this
little
too.
bit off the top, no matter
Look,
what.
y'all,
You
the
know what I mean?
audience, he's all right, but don't let him gas
Yeah,
himself
he
up.
cool.
He's all right. I always say
He's
be
cool.
humble. But go
All
ahead,
right.
go ahead,
I'm
go
all
ahead.
right.
But go ahead,
I'm all
go
right,
ahead.
bro. I'm all right.
Yeah,
Tell
you
your
all
story.
right.
So, man,
Yeah.
listen, stop.
I can-
so
look.
look.
Yeah.
So all right. So
I agree with you.
So we're playing on the team, right? So man,
You
guess
talking
what?
about last week?
Yeah, you said
Yeah.
that already. Guess what he
Okay.
did with 4 minutes left?
What'd he do? Take you out?
Yeah, took
I
me
would do
out.
the same thing.
So hold on. So
Look.
listen.
He not clutching
so
up.
look.
I would
So
do
look. So hold on.
I would do
So
the same thing.
Remember I said humble, right?
so listen.
Yeah, you gotta know
so,
your strengths and your weaknesses.
So no. So
Right.
my strength has always been, I'm a closer. That's what I do. But listen.
But
so
look,
so
people
two
on the
weeks-
outside, you gotta listen to
But-
feedback, right? People
Right.
on the
No, no,
outside
feed,
telling
no,
you-
no feedback in my career.
Go ahead.
Or no situation, no
Go ahead,
coach.
Trent. I want to hear from Trent.
No, but I want to.
He just said it. That's the whole point. He got to realize that I wasn't just a player in this aspect. See, I see one thing I'm learning.
He did it because I turned the ball over twice.
No,
Ah,
that's
now
I get
the
that.
We
truth
never
is coming
talked
out.
about it. We never talked.
We
We
ne-
never.
but-
We never
Now the
got
truth
in.
is coming
Look,
out.
Right.
You turned the ball over
Right.
twice.
I don't know why.
I can admit that.
Look, I didn't want to
So you
talk
know
in,
what you did.
I can
in front
admit-
of the cameras, but I didn't know that was something that you were struggling with. I knew that. I knew because everybody's like,
Yes, yeah.
why I'm out? But you know,
Yeah.
So listen. So even when.
But
so
I'm
when
coaching the
when-
well,
listen,
though. I'm
so when
coaching the well.
When the whistle goes off and Walt steps to the. So Walt even said it real low. He's like, "Hey, I got you." So I'm looking like, "Who you got? Come on."
Because he know how you.
He
know
was
how
like, "Yo, I got
Hey,
you."
bro,
I
I
said, "You
got
got
you."
me."
Yeah,
He was
you.
like, yeah. So I'm walking to the sideline, round on the free throw line, like, "Yo, what is he doing? Pulling me out the game." So I said, "Yo, what you doing?" Right.
But-
so.
do you want me to answer?
Nah, I'm not finished.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Because I
better tell you.
I can sum everything up.
Thank you, that's what I'm saying.
I can
know
sum
you are.
everything
So I'm
up.
trying to tell
Look,
you.
I can sum everything up and really,
Go ahead.
and I'm hoping he can have
He needs this.
some forgiveness.
Thank you.
So what I'm trying to tell the audience, the viewers, that the one thing he's not realizing that I just said something that was key. I just said that I wasn't playing in the game. I was no longer a player. So what that means was this was my first coaching debut at a great game, was it not?
No, it was a great game. It was a great game.
High level.
Did y'all win?
We lost by
We
7.
lost.
Okay,
We lost.
okay.
And that's probably what he's probably hanging on, that he probably figured like if he was in the game, he would have made a difference. But the point I'm making was it was my first coaching game.
Okay.
So I'm going to say that was the inexperience in me.
And look,
Now, is that fine?
I knew you inexperienced. I know that.
I feel
You know
like
what
you're
I'm
trying
saying?
to like quell his, you know what I'm saying, his emotions right now. You don't got to massage his.
Nah, he not doing that.
I got to
You
do
made-
that.
Nah,
Look,
he don't
look,
gotta do
I gotta
nothing.
do that.
Stand by your
He don't
decision.
gotta do nothing.
Because the next time we play, I don't want to have to go through that again.
So
if,
look.
if I got to take him out,
If you got to take him out, you got to do what you got to do.
You tell me you gotta give him 4
You
minutes.
gotta do what you gotta do,
Hey, we
coach.
fight on the sideline. At the end of the day, right? Like, listen, as
had
a ball,
Jordan. He
as a
had-
ball,
right,
hey, look, as a
He
ball,
getting
as a
older.
ball player,
Yes.
I understand. Like
Yeah.
in those moments,
Yeah.
those that pass and that turnover was
But
something
he-
got me. Like,
but
first of
can
all, nobody said, "Hey."
Right,
Like,
but-
dude behind you. So at the end of the
Yeah,
day,
yeah.
when he plucked me,
But
like,
here's
it
another
was-
thing. Here's a litmus test, right? So let me ask.
I called the turnovers out.
Right. So that's now I'm gonna ask you a question. Did you feel like you played up to your par?
Nah, it wasn't a good game for me. I get that. Listen,
That's all.
Listen, basketball is a rhythm sport, right?
But that was-
we know that.
but-
So what my primary responsibilities are? Another player did that, which is fine.
see.
We talked about adapting.
I got you.
Like I could do that,
Yeah.
but the adapting didn't come full circle. So a lot of the rhythm and things that come
course.
with playing the game didn't have the
Yeah,
opportunity. And
yeah.
again, I'm not tripping off that.
Now,
it don't matter about the points I score. It don't matter about the assists I have. Right? We get the W.
Yeah, yeah.
But every ball player wants to have a contribution
Yeah, yeah.
on the game.
Yeah, and
wherever
that's
it
true.
comes.
Yeah, and I
you know what I'm
think-
saying? Like whether it's defense, whether it
Absolutely,
doesn't matter.
absolutely,
My
absolutely.
impact on the game will always be great given the opportunity.
Absolutely.
And you made the biggest mistake of your coaching career. But we ain't
For
gonna
the,
talk about
hey,
that.
for the next game,
See how
make sure
see
you,
that
hey,
see,
hit my
see what he
phone
just
for
did?
the next game.
Right. But see what
I
he
can
just
play the
did though?
point.
See what he just did though?
Hey,
See
look.
that's fine.
I want him to play the
but
point.
look.
I want
but
you to
here-
see him play the point.
Yeah.
Can he play?
I want you to see him play.
Okay, gotcha.
Ask Justin, can he play?
I mean,
Justin, can I play?
Yeah, leave it there.
Why are you
Hey,
like
look, we'll leave it at that.
What's funny?
But here's the thing, though.
I'm a gamer, bro.
That was a jab, but I
video
let
game.
it go.
I'm a gamer.
No,
Video gamer.
Nah, like
You're
real life.
You're a video
real
gamer.
lifer. Like if you
Like-
put me in a situation,
So
gonna
y'all
fold.
on the
No.
2K.
I'm gonna rise up.
Y'all on the
That's
2K.
what
Y'all
I
on
do.
the 2K. Y'all on the 2K.
Hey, look.
I play 2K, but I'm talking about real life.
Gotcha. We'll have to work that out.
So listen, we
will.
got 5 minutes, and I want to really touch base
Yes.
on your transformation from the streets to who you are as a man, as a father, as a business owner. I know you, man. We've talked. You have a real estate. You're trying to start.
Yes, sir.
Real estate
Yep.
investment group. You have the barber shop, right? Devoted father, all of that, right? So I know you're really heavy in your faith.
Yes,
right?
sir.
And you said that propelled you really through prison.
Yeah.
Right. So let's
Yeah.
talk about how you sustain that outside of prison, because again, with all the temptations and not resorting back, right? Like talk about that a
gotcha,
little bit.
perfect. And just because we don't have but a short matter of time left, but really because I truly changed. There it is. I really changed. I can go back 5, 10, 15, I know me. And just go back to basketball court where you first found me. People doing this, that was a bad move back then before I changed. But this is also too, again, for the viewers, just on the simplicity of understanding how you change. A lot of things is too, we're just talking about maturing. Some things we got to mature. So to answer that question again too is like, you got to put childish things away and do what grown men do. Like something we talk about here in the barbershop. This is, Cutz-N-Restore Image barbershop. We talk about like now is a time where you can't even pull up to a grown man and have a serious, tough conversations. I'm talking about like, yo, you whack, get in line. Now he's taking that as, oh, what's up? What do you mean, what's up? Bro, you whack. I love you, but you whack right now. Let's talk about it. But that's one of the things that's missing, especially in the black community, of how to be strong on one another, but also how to recover one another. It ain't got to go to left field. Now he wants to pull out a gun. And so now we on that. So, but again, we're talking about maturity. We're talking about my faith. I understand that, come on, let's be real. That's probably someone who haven't never had a father figure. So he's battling that ego. He's battling that identity. So who am I? Now I would be just as bad if I turn around and blast him because he's lacking something. And this is what, like you're saying, I love what you're doing as far as with the youth, because that's where it really begins. We got to install some good values, some good morals in our youth, so they're not being lacking and being handicapped because they thinking because I'm a black man, I can't do nothing. We just talked about for about 45 minutes how I got in prison. Now I pursue my career as a barber. Then eventually in 2018, I opened my first location.
And again, let me say congratulations on the degree too, brother. Like,
Yeah, and-
you know what I'm saying?
absolutely.
Like when I heard that, I didn't want to interrupt at that
Absolutely.
point. I know we're tying up, but I first
Yeah,
and
yeah.
foremost want to say congratulations to,
Thank
after all that time
yeah.
to go pursue something like that.
Yeah.
What was it in?
Biblical ministry,
Okay.
Bible ministry,
Beautiful, man.
and the
Beautiful.
pastoral degree. Yeah.
Got you. All right. So again, man, from the bottom through everything, bro. Like, the love is real, it's genuine. I appreciate you taking the time, man.
appreciate you having
to
me
open up
on.
your world to us,
Absolutely.
brother, to let us
Sure.
be
Nah,
in here and
appreciate
do
it.
what we do, man.
Yep.
And for everybody to get an understanding of who you truly are. If they
Appreciate
didn't
it.
know
Sure.
already. So again, y'all already know what it is, man. This your boy King. We're here in Cutz-N-Restoration.
Cutz-N-Restore.
Cutz-N-Restore. You clearly know I don't get a haircut
Yeah,
from
yeah,
him.
yeah.
But I hope
Soon,
you guys,
though.
I hope
Yes.
you guys enjoy what we talking about. Again, PG_Crown_King. I'm gonna let my guy 30 close this out.
Yeah, it's your boy, MrGo30. That was another fire episode of the Built Different podcast. Join us next time. We're going to keep them coming for you. All right, thank you so much. We out. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.